As we all know, the recent news around New World, or really the recent lack of news around New World, has caused an uproar throughout the community. Essentially, the developers built up a huge amount of hype regarding a major announcement, and realistically, there was minimally anything really new or anything that surprised the community regarding future content. Essentially, all they did was release that New World is coming to console, which we've known for several months now. Regardless, there has been a ton of controversy and confusion throughout this. And when I hear about this type of controversy, the first thing I do is really just jump on Google and start searching around to see what I can find. And I recently found that there were two articles with pretty interesting headlines. I mean, this first one, New World Dev explains why the MMORPG needs a huge relaunch. And then Amazon Games announces New World Eternum will be released, yada yada. Well, this first one, you try to open it, and there you go. They clearly tried to hide it. Maybe it was a PR move. They're just trying to quiet the noise before they generate more buzz. But we can go ahead and just unlock this really quick. Voila, there we go. We now have the hidden article regarding a interview with one of New World's developers. So what I'm going to do is just slowly scroll through this and take a closer look at how this interview went. And we'll just go ahead and start from the top. Amazon Games MMORPG New World is about to go through a massive presentation change. Really not that massive, really they're just going to console. But let's continue. Since launching in 2021, it's been a PC-only MMO through and through, but later this year it's coming to consoles and undergoing a relaunch. There's that word, relaunch, which is a little scary, honestly. There are new ARPG elements thrown in, and solo and co-op play have a renewed focus. With such a potentially turbulent time on the horizon, we spoke with some of the team behind New World while at Summer Game Fest and learned more about what this relaunch means for the game and its players. There we go. That's really what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and just keep going. As you might imagine, making such monumental and fundamental changes to the framework of an MMORPG is not easy, and longtime players have been left with a lot of questions. We have even more questions. We need answers. There are going to be control changes and new content is coming, but in case there's any confusion, we asked the team exactly what New World Tournament actually is. I call it a spiritual successor. Okay, that's a very large buzzword there. We've been live for basically 3 years and partnering with players to drive a lot of changes we've been making, and this is a culmination of all of that. So basically it sounds like he's calling PC players beta testers, but let's see what else he has to say. Lane says that one of the driving forces behind the relaunch of New World is the refined, overhauled combat system. Eternum has a new UI, controller support, presets, key shortcuts, and much more. The team has determined to get these changes out to PC players. But realistically, they're more concerned about the console players for sure here. It's a lot of work. It's a big undertaking, Lane continues, and we liked what we had, but we wanted to get it out there with the PC players and work with them to refine the game and make it better, and try to give them an experience they really wanted. I have to stop for a second and say how appreciative we are of that partnership because it has been great. Okay, this 100% says, hey, we launched it in PC. We knew it had a lot of work. We used the PC players to refine it, clean it up for the big console launch where we'll really be focused. So, I mean, it's essentially not a second chance. This is maybe fourth or fifth chance here, but let's just keep going. This definitely takes it to the next level. New World creative director David adds, we've added a lot of the UI. We have the virtual cursor, the shortcuts so it's easier to navigate around what is a complicated UX in some places. From the actual control standpoint, we've got a lock on now, which is great. You can press one click and you can easily switch between targets. So it just makes it easier. I was talking to someone who played it and they said, I haven't played this since the beginning and it feels like a different game, Lane adds. It's still in the same kind of genre, but it feels new. This all lands alongside a new 10-player raid, solo endgame trials, and an all-new PvP zone with new gear and NPCs and an improved main quest. But you need to own the base game and the Rise of the Angry Earth DLC to get Eternum's new content for free. So basically, this is saying, hey, if you're on PC now and you have the DLC, you're going to get this new content for free. Thank God. Like, imagine they actually made us pay for this. It would have been crazy. For longtime players, Lane calls Eternum an addition to the end game, while stressing that Amazon is not taking anything away from the game or enhancing it. I mean, we'll see. I mean, these are pieces of new content, which is great, but also this is all predictable and or known about the last few months. We need something new. We need something large, maybe a new zone, maybe new islands that we can swim to, just really some sort of revamp or new content that's going to keep us PC players busy rather than just relaunching it to new players and letting them mess around with it for a few months as we just sit here with even more months and months of no content. Let's keep going though. Senior producer Katie adds that the team at Amazon has been streamlining the experience by reducing the MMORPG's grind while keeping the challenge. I think we did a good job of reducing the grind. It's still a little bit there, but because you can't have a game like this without a little bit of grind to get your higher level stuff, but now it's far more fun than probably a lot of folks that left felt. I mean, I personally like New World because of the grind, but I know a lot of people do not agree with me, but hey, to each their own. For PC players, it's a continuation of their journey. They won't see any interruption at all. But when it comes to the way that it's positioned, it is positioned as Eternum and not New World, the previous game. And that's really to show that this is the ultimate experience. This is the end-to-end plus the end game. So, okay, for PC players, which is all of us we're essentially playing today, we will not see any interruption at all. But when it comes to the way that it's positioned, it is positioned as Eternum and not New World. So they are completely rebranding the game. They probably just want to have a better quote unquote launch experience, even though this is their second or third time of doing it. Let's see. There's also a section, we also asked the team at Amazon why players should come back to New World later this year, with Lane bringing everything together for us. There are a lot of reasons to come to Eternum. Right off the bat, it's a very different experience if you haven't played it since Brimstone Sands or before. It's almost unrecognizable for the most part. Our combat's gotten better, which you can then carry into the end game. There's just so much more to do, and the story is so much more fleshed out. So I don't really know what he's talking about here in regards to combat. I know they made some changes over the last few months, but I personally think it's not as strong as it used to be, honestly. Plus, people are floating, people are flying, people are jumping around left and right. I cannot get through a full OPR game now without some sort of lag or seeing the enemy team lag. I think what Eternum is just filling these gaps that players have been telling us about for a long time. Like, hey, we want this. I think that's what Eternum does. It fills in all the gaps, and now it's the full ultimate experience. Okay, clearly, I mean, jump on Reddit, read the comments at their YouTube videos that they've posted. There are a lot of gaps, and a lot of those gaps could be filled with brand new content, honestly. And that really ends this article. I'm going to go ahead and share the link of this in my description. I'm going to go ahead and share the other article really quick too. Again, this will be in the description, but this one is a little bit more of like a Q&A format. So there's a question and then an answer. I'm just going to go ahead and dive into the good stuff because this is already pretty repetitive to this first one. Over here, he did call out that they've added a lot of focus around making it play and feel more like an action RPG. And he randomly says, we've added swimming. Okay, big deal. But they've also added the new raid at the end game. They've taken their solo trials and they've made end game versions of those. So essentially, it's like a copy and paste, kind of like the Winter Forge trial that we did recently, and just made them a little bit more difficult. They also call out the PvP zone, gear score increases, matchmaking, and he does confirm matchmaking for their 3v3 PvP arena. There's also some discussion around controller support. If you're interested in this, feel free to just pause the video and take a quick read. I don't want to bore you guys even further because I know this is a long video. Here they talk about class archetypes. Essentially, this is not super major or important. This is really, let's say day one, you start the game, you load it up, and you can select which weapon you're using as a level 1 character. Nothing's changing in regards to class systems or things like that. You can still swap weapons in and out like it's nothing. This is just kind of making it a little bit more public, and I think their approach to kind of marketing to the public, the fact that this game does have class systems, which I think the general public generally are fans of. They're talking about the quest flow, how it's easier to level up, it's less of a grind, like we kind of heard in that previous one. Here we go. Do you see some of these changes making their way back into the live PC version? And Katie thankfully confirms, oh, they're going to get all of this. For the folks that are currently playing, if they purchased the Rise of the Angry Earth DLC last year, they're going to get everything. That's kind of like what we heard in the previous one as well. There is crossplay too, which is exciting. This is the big question that I think a lot of people are asking too. Does that mean New World on PC will change, or rather essentially disappear, and that Eternum will take its place? Scott confirms. I wouldn't say disappearing. I mean, that's kind of scary right off the bat. Like, why doesn't he just say that is not the case? But okay. He says that I think it's just going to be rebranded to match the branding of where we are now with the franchise. So apparently now it's considered a franchise. He also says, I think, so I'm not sure how accurate this is. Katie adds on to this question by saying that the way that she describes it is if you played right at the launch, the game has changed so much. It's a completely different game. We redid the entire main story quest line. It's totally brand new. If you're playing today and you're a current player, then it's just a continuation of your journey. Your progression continues. It's going to drop on October 15th, and you're just going to keep playing and having fun, either on your main or on a fresh start world. If you're on console, you're going to get all of this from day one, and it's just like Eternum is the ultimate New World experience. And then Scott kind of adds, there will be a lot more people to buy your stuff in the trading posts from October 15th, which again, I don't know how accurate that is. If you're buying this for console, chances are you won't be on an existing server. And if you are, you're not going to have as good of a time because everyone's just going to be way ahead of you and you're just going to be outclassed. Katie does confirm that the launch will include fresh start worlds. Basically, does PC get anything for playing for this long? And essentially all we get is the Azoth Stalker mount skin. So yes and no, but realistically we don't really get much. And that really is a general overview of this one. Again, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this in the description of the video. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The goal is to just try and inform you guys with all the information I can find, because there is a lack of new content and we just need more answers in regards to what's next. There is a slight discussion down here in regards to the new raid. David calls out that his favorite new piece of content is the raid. It's bringing something brand new to New World. It's a 3-boss experience and it's part of the end game, and that it is challenging. We'll see. Katie kind of talks a little bit about the PvP zone, and she does confirm the name of it as the Lawless Zone. We'll see how they organize that. I mean, chances are, yes, it's free for all, but at the same time, what's stopping a company from entering that zone together, just not hitting each other and bombarding random people that they come across? But I guess we'll see on how they try to tackle that and the overall launch of that. But again, that covers this one. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're still interested in New World content. Even if you're not playing, it really does help me out. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks again.